and there is a good chance that it could double from this point. 50% correction hua, and then since then it has become a rocket. It has gone up by 2.5 times. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So markets haven't corrected too much from their peak, but there are a series of good stocks that have corrected by more than 20% or around 20%. Now it might be a great opportunity right now to buy these stocks or at least put them on our watch list, and in case the prices correct further, we could always consider building positions in these type of stocks. So I'll do two things on this video. Number one, I'll help you understand some of the major developments that are happening in the Indian stock market right now. For example, FIIs are selling. RBI has become really active in terms of controlling like the flow of credit, right? So they are getting a little bit worried whatever is happening in the Indian economy right now from a credit bubble perspective. So this is a macro change. So I'll explain you these macro changes. And second, I'm going to take you through some good stocks that have corrected by 20% and they align with these macros that are happening. But in order to understand the story further, first let me take you through the story of HDFC AMC. I'll not take more than 15 seconds to explain this story. यहाँ पे आप देखोगे HDFC AMC था, right? It was at almost 3,400. Then it corrected to 1,700, 1,800, 50% correction hua. And then since then it has become a rocket. It has gone up by 2.5 times. The important lesson that I want to explain is that a good stock, if it corrects too much, does not mean कि वो हमेशा नीचे रहेगा, right? So therefore, it becomes very important for us to understand that if good stocks are available at correction, it might be sensible for us to invest in these type of companies. Now, all of us get very excited with the prospects of turnaround stocks and we want to put in a lot of money, but we forget about these turnaround opportunities in our career. Now, one such turnaround opportunity is the artificial intelligence space. And if you actually pick up artificial intelligence skills, then irrespective of whichever career path you come from, be it finance, marketing, HR, sales, you would do well in your career. This is a trending skill. I would encourage all of you to learn about it, which brings us to the sponsors of today's video, which is Growth School. And they are organizing a training program, which is a 3-hour training program. It is usually a paid training program. But for the first 1,500 audiences who would sign up by using the link in the description and comment box, this training program will be made for free. Now, in this training, you will learn about job hunting strategies, salary hike strategies, solving complex problems through AI, and even personal branding and business strategies. More than 1 million people have gone through this training program and have benefited. So you can definitely check out the links. The training will happen at 7 p.m. So don't forget to book your free slot. You can check the links in the description and comment box. Now, with that said, let's move over to the main video. Okay, so let me explain you 3 macro points. The first macro point has to do with the perspective that FIIs or foreign institutional investors are selling in the Indian market at record height, and still the market or the Indian market is not falling. It is largely because कि DIIs के पास इतना पैसा है कि you know what, even like billionaires will be put to shame, and that is actually true. But you need to understand the deeper story here, right, for you to make like investment calls. So सबसे पहले मैं आपको macro data दिखा देता हूँ, and यहाँ पे आप जाके खुद check कर सकते हो that how much stuff are FIIs and DIIs selling, right? So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे, for example, if you check the October data, ये 17th October when I am making the video, so आप देख सकते हो कि अगर आप October data ही check करोगे, so the net sales by FIIs is 75,000 crore. Okay, so this is like crazy. Okay, just for context, आप अगर सितंबर डेटा देखोगे तो देवर नेट बायर्स यहाँ पे 20, यहाँ पे 42, यहाँ पे 35, right? So for the last several months, this month is one such month where FIIs have sold like crazy. Okay, so this is like a very big number. Natural question comes कि यार कब तक संभालते रहेंगे DIIs वाले, right? उनका पैसा भी तो खत्म होगा. Okay, so this is what you need to understand, and this is something that people are not teaching you, right? So I'll just explain you this concept in very simple language, point-wise manner. Now, how do DIIs get money? Well, they get money by SIP. Now, the SIP money that you give DIIs or domestic institutional investors, जैसे you do mutual fund वगैरह. So what you do is that every first of the month you will be getting your salary. You give it to DII people. They pick that money and then they put it in the market. Now, what market? Now, mostly this SIP money is invested in Indian equity market. Okay, so this is a very important point कि भाई जो भी आपकी SIP growth हो रही है, that is the money or the fodder that DIIs take and put it in the Indian market. Point number 2. Do they have the option of putting this money in the American market or gold खरीद लेंगे या bond खरीद लेंगे? Well, it depends on the type of fund. But generally speaking, right, if you're buying an equity fund, then it's not as if that the money that you're giving to a mutual fund manager in India / a DII, they can use it to buy like stocks in China or somewhere. Okay. Which brings us to point number 3 कि भाई जितना भी आपका SIP का money है, most of it has to by default go to the Indian market. So until the SIP inflow stops for some reason, it's highly unlikely that the Indian market is going to die down. Okay, so this is the basic point. A much better question to ask is that, hey, will the SIP inflow in the Indian market slow down? That's a very interesting question, which brings us to the choices paradox. Choices paradox का मतलब होता है कि चलो मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. You are making, let's say, 1.5 lakhs and you are saving money 50-60,000, and every month you are making some investments. Now what is your plan B? If you don't put your money in Indian equities, where are you going to put it? That's the precise problem. आप इससे रियल एस्टेट खरीद नहीं सकते, गोल्ड ऑल टाइम हाई पे चल रहा है, ऑल दैट स्टफ. गोल्ड भी नहीं खरीदोगे, बॉन्ड में करोगे तो 30% टैक्स लगेगा, राइट, एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ, और लाइक स्लैब रेट टैक्स लगेगा. एफडी में रिटर्न है नहीं. So ले दे के your only choice is that by default you will invest money in the Indian stock market, right? Or give it to domestic institutional investor. They will put your money and put it in the stock market. So this is basically what is happening, right? And the entire perspective, DI ने संभाल रखा है and all that stuff. सुनने में अच्छा लगता है, but honestly, like there is no choice. They have to do it because you are giving them your SIP. Now, interesting point here is that DIIs are sitting on record cash. For example, अगर मैं आपको ये वाला data point दिखाऊं, so this is Samco, right? And यहाँ पे they are sitting on 50% cash positions on some of our hybrid funds. So इतनी situation बुरी है कि you are giving your money to mutual fund managers and they are saying, बस कुछ नहीं करेंगे, हमने ऐसे ही बैठे रहेंगे. And honestly, like वो पैसा जंग खाता है. And honestly, it's not generating any return. Now, this is a very deep problem that is happening in the Indian market, that the number of investable options have really shrunk right now. And even mutual fund managers in India right now are struggling to figure out investable options. This is a reality. Now, I hope that the next section will hopefully help you remedy some of it. So now let me explain you the final macro point and then I will do stock wise commentary. So ये data आता है US से, right? And this is a very important data point. And ये मैंने NRI community में भी share किया था. In case some of you are interested in learning about international investing option, I cover a lot of topics around international investing on my NRI community. I'll give the link. You guys can check it out. So this is a very important data point. So this shows a 3-year performance of US stock market, right? एंड मैंने 3 ईयर क्यों किया है? क्योंकि बेसिकली व्हेन वी इन्वेस्ट इन लाइक म्यूचुअल फंड्स और जब हम इक्विटीज भी खरीदते हैं, वी यूजुअली कीप लाइक अ 3-year व्यू पॉइंट, राइट? आई मीन इसको ही लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टिंग बोलते हैं. सो देयरफॉर आई एम पिकिंग लाइक अ 3-year डेटा पॉइंट. एंड व्हाट यू विल नोटिस इज, you know what, boss, right? In sectors ने ठीक किया है, right? They have actually given some positive return. These sectors have given negative returns, right? तो उसमें कुछ खास रिटर्न नहीं है. Now in the stock market we try to play over smart. We think, you know what, हम ही ज्ञानी है, right? And हमारी रिटर्न बनेगा. We will be able to identify sector rotation like this. नहीं होता, okay? Every one of us would be making such mistakes. What we can do is that look at like a 3-year CAGR, and इंडिया में ये डेटा फाइंड करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है. सो देयरफॉर आई हैव पिक्ड द अमेरिकन डेटा. इंडिया में भी ऐसे ही इसी तरीके का चलेगा. सो व्हाट विल हैपन और व्हाट इज लाइकली टू हैपन इज दैट सी व्हाट हाई ग्रोथ सेक्टर्स आर हियर. इनमें से कुछ होंगे, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल टेक्नोलॉजी इज टिपिकली अ हाई ग्रोथ सेक्टर, हेल्थ केयर इज टिपिकली अ हाई ग्रोथ सेक्टर. अब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि ये सेक्टर दे विल लाइक कंटिन्यू टू अंडर परफॉर्म द ब्रॉडर इंडेक्स और ब्रॉडर मार्केट. ऐसा नहीं होगा. दीज सेक्टर्स विल on a 3 to 5 year basis will do typically better than your average Nifty 50 or S&P 500. Okay. So यहाँ पे sector rotation will happen for the positive. यहाँ पे अगर आप पैसा अभी डालोगे तो आपको इसका रिटर्न मिलेगा after 3 years. But if you continue to pump money in sectors which are already have done well recently, then the chances are that the amount of returns that they might make might not be very high. Again, going back to that HDFC AMC story, कि भाई वो sector or segment within that sector was very, very good. It was a very good stock. Now, many of you would say कि आपने किया था invest. Yes, 100%. And I was one of the backers of HDFC AMC. उसमें I have made a lot of money. उसमें my community has made a lot of money. It was a good stock to buy. It was a good sector to buy during that phase. अब जब already things pumped up हो जाती हैं and then you finally decide चलो आप खरीद लेते हैं after like 200% run up, then maybe you are buying a bad sector rotation, right? So in order to buy a good sector rotation, you have to, number one, have like at least a 3-year perspective. Buy things that fall here, okay, or which are underperforming, so to say. Okay, so with that said, let me start going into specific stocks that I want to talk about. So the first sector that I'm going to speak about is the auto sector stock. Now, I am not a firm believer in EVs right now, electric vehicles, right? And electric vehicles, I'm not a firm believer of four-wheelers. Now, why? The reason is very simple, that when it comes to four-wheeler infrastructure, we require a lot of peripheral development that needs to happen. For example, charging points आपके ठीक होने चाहिए, आपकी batteries में issue नहीं होने चाहिए. It's much more complicated design. Your hardware, software alignment needs to be there. MG Hector की गाड़ियाँ, ghost writer बन जाती है, right? And अपने आप जल जाती हैं, whatever, right? Similarly, टू-व्हीलर में भी जाओ, so ओला इलेक्ट्रिक भैया दिवाली के क्रैकर्स की तरह वो फटता रहता है. So the point is that EV story is very new. A lot of R&D needs to go into it. First, the EV adoption will truly happen in two-wheeler segment in India. and then we will eventually move to like a four-wheeler segment. So this is a basic reality. Now, operationally speaking, the way this entire game is likely to play out for me as an investor is very basic. And you are seeing this issue being played out with Ola Electric right now. That Ola Electric mein, what has been the problem, right? Ki wo scooter kareeb, used to get sold at like 1 lakh rupee and now it has fallen to like, 50,000 pe wo discount karke bech rahe hain. Itne sare Ola Electric scooters are there on the service center or service station, whatever they call it, and usme kuch nahi ho raha hai, right? वो ऐसे के ऐसे ही पड़े रहते हैं. There is massive service issue that is happening there. Now, why? It's not as if, Ola अच्छा काम नहीं करना चाहता. It's just that there is a lot of untested water, uncharted water. वो जोश में कंपनी शुरू कर देते हैं. Product is not properly tested. Distribution is not properly built. Servicing is not properly built. Entrepreneurship के नाम पे, Make in India के नाम पे कुछ भी माल चिपका देते हैं, right? So this is a problem that is happening with Ola Electric. Therefore, some other big players have been very smart with it. For example, जैसे आपका बजाज ऑटो हो गया या हीरो मोटोकॉप हो गया. So all these companies sell, traditionally speaking, जो ट्रेडिशनल आपकी ऑटोमोबाइल्स होती हैं, जो पेट्रोल वाली टू व्हीलर्स होती हैं, देयर सेल्स नंबर आर क्रेजी. दैट्स वेरी वेरी हाई. It's not as if that they can't compete with like Ola Electric and all that stuff. So मैं data से बताता हूँ आपको. So I'll request you to take a look at these two charts. So number one is the EV sales report for March of 2024. अब आप देखोगे कि Ola Electric तो यार नंबर 1 है, 50,000 गाड़ियां बेच दी हैं, तो मतलब ये तो आगे निकल गई है and all that stuff. And आप देखोगे बजाज ऑटो is only selling like 18,000. तो फिर तो भाई ओला से अच्छी कंपनी नहीं है कुछ, ये तो अगली गूगल बनेगी and all that stuff. And okay, so then let's look at the overarching picture, right? So this is your two-wheeler sale in India, right? So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे कि total sales जो बजाज ने करी है, this is like 1.84 लाख, so करीब करीब 2 लाख गाड़ियों के आसपास करी है. यहाँ पे ओला कहाँ पे आती है? ओला कहीं पे भी नहीं आती. It is very less. So what I'm trying to tell you is very simple. किसी overarching जो two-wheeler space है, उसमें अभी भी जो traditional players हैं, आपके हो गए जैसे टीवीएस हो गया या हीरो मोटोकॉप हो गई या बजाज हो गई. सो इस तरीके की कंपनीज आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. दे हैव अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. दे हैव वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग फाइनेंसिंग स्ट्रक्चर. देयर प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी इज वेरी हाई व्हेन इट कम्स टू कन्वेंशनल ऑटोमोबाइल. ऑन द फ्लिप साइड, पॉइंट नंबर 2 और रिलेटेड पॉइंट है कि आप जो न्यू एज आ गई है, एथर आ गई है, आपकी ओला आ गई है, ये क्या कर रही है? ये आर ओनली सब सेगमेंटिंग इट इनटू ईवी, टू व्हीलर ईवी. वो उनका कोर एरिया है. लेकिन इसका ये मतलब बिल्कुल भी नहीं है कि बजाज हो गया या टीवीएस हो गया, ये लोग गाड़ियां नहीं निकाल पाएंगे व्हेन इट कम्स टू इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स. दे विल डेफिनेटली डू इट and they will do it more prominently, sensibly. They're just waiting for these Ola type of companies to invest crazy amount of money, R&D, right? And wasting a lot of money in terms of building that peripheral infrastructure. And then these other big players will come and copy them. It's not as if that they are sleeping. So therefore, to me as an investor, I will be investing in these type of core companies. अभी अच्छी चीज ये है कि there is a kind of a little bit of a discount which has started to happen. So मैं आपको दिखा भी देता हूँ थोड़ी सी कहानी यहाँ पे. So for example, if you go to let's say Bajaj Auto, right? So यहाँ पे आप देखोगे कि in the last 5 days the stock has corrected by almost 17%. So करीब करीब 20% का करेक्शन यहाँ पे हो गया है. अगर आप TVS मोटर्स पे जाओगे तो इस पे कितना चल रहा है डिस्काउंट? भाई ये एक महीने में 2.5% गिर चुका है. अगर आप हीरो मोटोकॉप पे जाओगे, हीरो मोटोकॉप पे भी ऐसी स्टोरी चल रही है कि it has gone down by 12-15%. So this is a good time to start aggregating your position. So I'm not saying that if you have 100 rupees to invest in one go. No. You have to build or start to build your position sensibly and upward average it, downward average it, depending on how the situation is moving. But now is like a good time to actually start considering these type of stocks. So this is one, and इसमें ना actually it's not as if कि these companies are struggling to generate profit. For example, अगर अपन बजाज ऑटो का देखें, आप देखोगे कि they have done well, right? For example, in the last 3 years, they have been able to almost double their sales. They have been able to almost double their profits. So it's not as if that these are like, struggling players. And also, I would like to explain final point regarding this. And tomorrow, I will write a detailed post also that out of these 3 stocks, where I see more opportunities and why. So I'll give you like a nitty-gritty picture on this. But final point that I wanted to highlight was that Bajaj जो है, now Bajaj में financing is easy. Now India is a financing game. India में ऐसा नहीं होता कि for example 50,000 या 1 lakh का scooter है, then people have like a lot of cash and वो जाके खरीद लेंगे. No. There is a financing infrastructure around it. Now, Bajaj has a financing program around it. Similarly, all these two-wheeler dealers have very good financing available. So, एक small point हो गया. Similarly, their distribution quality, after sales service, these are small points that will go into building a very good two-wheeler ecosystem. So, therefore, I'm quite bullish on this. And अगर मेरे को ये discount पे मिलते हैं stocks, I'll definitely add. Am I adding right away? Little bit I've added, and with time I will amplify my position. So this was one set of stock that I wanted to touch upon. The second stock that I would touch upon has to do with financing, and a lot of activity is happening. Recently, you would have heard that RBI has de facto quote unquote banned Navi, right, which is a lending organization in a way, from giving out loans. The reason cited was that they were doing like predatory loans. Predatory loans का मतलब ये होता है कि यार बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट पे लोन दे दिया. They haven't followed risk mitigation principles. Now, this is not just applicable to Navi. This is applicable to even gold loan companies. For example, Manappuram Finance. Now, this is आपने अक्षय कुमार के ऐड देखे होंगे, राइट? सो मन्नापुरम के लिए वो ऐड करते हैं, वो गुटके के भी ऐड करते हैं. सो मन्नापुरम इज दैट कंपनी. नाउ व्हाट इट डज इज दैट इट डज गोल्ड लोन्स. Now, gold loan is a very low risk kind of an asset for a company that is taking your gold and giving you loan based on that. Why? Because they have access to an asset already, which they can auction off. So इसमें भी फॉर एग्जाम्पल आरबीआई आया, आरबीआई ने बोला कि अच्छा आपकी एक सब्सिडरी चलती है मन्नापुरम वाले, नाउ वी आर नॉट अलाउइंग यू टू गिव फर्दर गोल्ड लोन्स वाया दिस सब्सिडरी. सो नाउ यू हैव टू स्टेप बैक एंड स्टार्ट थिंकिंग कि यार ये हो क्या रहा है एक्चुअली मार्केट में, राइट? कि आई मीन यू नो व्हाट, आरबीआई वाले बैन क्यों लगा रहे हैं इन सब कंपनीज पे? सो नाउ सी गाइस, आई मीन देयर आर लाइक structural. Now this is a video in itself, but I'll try to be quick. I'll try to give you like a 1 minute summary on this. See, number one, in India, the cost of credit or cost of borrowing is crazy, right? I mean, it's not as if people want to take loans from Navi. कि भाई हमें तो 25 पे दे दो, 25% loan हम ले लेंगे. No, they have no other option but to take loan from these type of organizations to survive, or like, you know, whatever, make like stupid financial decisions, whatever you call it. Okay. So they have no avenue to take loans. Therefore, they are going to them, right? So this shows that people are just dried up on credit. Number two, the extent of chori that is there with these type of companies is crazy, right? I mean, now what do I mean by that? So for this, you need to understand the concept of LTV or loan to value. Now, this is a matrix which is used everywhere, not just in India. Now, LTV का मतलब होता है लोन टू वैल्यू. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इसमें आपको गोल्ड भी हो सकता है, इसमें आपका घर भी हो सकता है, राइट? इसमें आपका कोई भी एसेट भी हो सकता है, राइट? नाउ दीज आर कॉल्ड एज एसेट बैक्ड लोन्स. अब इसमें मान के चलो कि अगर लोन टू वैल्यू असेसमेंट करना है जैसे मन्नापुरम फाइनेंस वालों को, व्हाट वुड दे डू? You will go and give them your gold, right? And Manappuram wale will do something called as valuation, right? And they will say, "Acha, theek hai, you have brought this gold to me. I assess that the value of this gold is 2 lakh rupee." Okay. Now, how did they get this 2 lakh rupee? There will be a verification mechanism. वो अपने खुद के valuators बुलाएंगे. When you're not there, they will, then give you like a quote after 1 day or 2 day or whatever it is. They'll follow a certain process. They दुनिया भर की चीजें, right? Now, what RBI is saying is that, you know what, this LTV for these type of companies, what they assess is not right. Okay, so they are playing games there, right? So this is one. And इससे होता क्या है कि, for example, if someone defaults, right? Then इन्होंने क्या किया? They have like, under-reported that asset or over-reported that asset depending on, what benefit they want to get. For example, if they are trying to increase their loan book, then they can explain the asset under their management to be high by pegging a higher value. But if they want to keep their books on the lower side, then they will say कि अच्छा नहीं, इतनी value नहीं है. And this, the interesting point is that this 2 lakh is market dynamically linked, right? It depends on the gold price, right? It depends on the spot buying price. So इतने सारे complication होते हैं. Now जो इस तरीके की company है, they are doing like some funky stuff when it comes to assessing this value of the asset in its truest sense as of today. And this is not right. अब ये तो हो गया, चलो अब बहुत आसानी से हम बोल सकते हैं कि ये तो मन्नापुरम वालों की गलती है, चोर है, right? But think about it, कि why don't we have like a standardized practice of doing this LTV assessment? Okay, so this is like something that needs to be structurally built. This has to be communicated sensibly. You cannot just simply go ahead and start killing businesses left, right, and center and keep them under like so much stress कि यार कल को कुछ भी किसी भी ban हो सकता है. So this just kills the lending ecosystem. So there are loopholes on both the side. But anyways, to us as investor, what is it that we need to be aware of when we are considering investing in companies like Manappuram Finance? See, the first key thing is that this is a temporary issue. It's not as if that हमेशा के लिए गड़बड़ हो गई कि आप कभी भी लोन दे ही नहीं पाएंगे Manappuram Finance वाले, और गोल्ड लोन्स जो हैं वो कभी चलेंगे नहीं इंडिया में. This is like, really dumb perspective of thinking about it. This is a temporary problem. Will it get solved? According to me, yes, it will get solved. It will get sorted. I don't think that, ऐसा होगा कि खत्म ये business. So then we have to go and do like an assessment of the company. So मैं आपको data दिखा देता हूँ थोड़ा सा, right, for Manappuram Finance. So for example, right now the stock is available at less than 6 PE, okay, and it has fallen in a single day by 14%. So today is this dip that you can see, right, and इसमें चलो इसके numbers देख लेते हैं कि भाई ये ऐसे loss making company types है क्या? So no. So for example, if you actually take a look that from 2020, they have almost been able to double their business, right? They have been able to almost double their profits. So it's not as if कि ऐसी कोई कमी है, right, company में. not an issue, right? P ratio is really sensible. What about investors? ऐसा तो नहीं कि यार investors बेच बाच के निकल रहे हैं, नहीं. FIIs have maintained their holding. DIIs have also maintained their holding, right? So strong hands में है holding, right? What has been the correction, right? For the last 5 years, how has the stock performed? Well, the stock has done nothing in the last 5 years. So goal घूम के यहीं आ गया है, okay? So I think this is the final layer when the stock is getting its pitai really badly. There is a good chance that if you hold it for 3 to 5 years, this is a deep value stock now, right? And there is a good chance that it could double from this point. So I am a net investor now in this company. I have not built any position up until this point, but I will start building position. Will I start building it immediately? No, that I'll have to wait and watch. Whenever I do it, I'll give you some commentary on my member community. Okay, so I actually wanted to cover a lot more stocks, but since this video has become already very long, I'll just cover one final stock, which is Indigo Paints. This is already in my portfolio. I see this stock doubling from this point. Now, why am I saying it? So if you have followed the Asian Paint story, one of the reasons why Asian Paint stock corrected was कि paint industry में competition बहुत आ गया. That was one. Another key point was कि यार, you know what, crude के prices बहुत बढ़ गए. That was another major, like, you know, headache for the company. But what is happening now? So here is like the crude oil data. The forecast says that the crude prices are going to be stable, which means that their cost is going to get controlled. And the second key point is that वो competition वाली चीज तो हो गई ना. It's not as if कि competition हमेशा होती रहेगा, right? So now if we actually look at the recent numbers, अगर आप quarter wise data भी analyze करो, तो you'll see that the numbers are picking up. There is no problem here. I am assuming कि अभी दिवाली वाला क्वार्टर आएगा. That could be like a very good quarter for the company, क्योंकि usually लोग पेंट दिवाली के आसपास ही कराते हैं, right? So उसमें all these paint companies are going to do well, right? They are going to collect good money in that quarter and it is going to eventually reflect. So this is already in that deep value zone. So मैं आपको एक बार चार्ट भी दिखा देता हूँ. So for example, if you take a look, so this was the peak roughly 2600. Right now it is trading at roughly 1400. So इसमें भी अच्छी खासी गिरावट हो गई है, करीब करीब how much 40% के आसपास की. So there is a good chance that the stock will rebound from this point. And again, I'm bullish on it. This is a fundamentally good stock. Now, of course, this is not a recommendation कि आप भी जाके खरीद लो. I explained you the entire macro. अब आपकी श्रद्धा है. If you want to buy it, if you don't want to buy it, if you want to buy one stock, if you want to buy 5 stocks, वो सब आप देख लो. My job was to give you like accurate information, which I hope I'm able to present. If you like the video, do press the like button and I will see you soon the next time.